Overtime!
Hey, I'm Charlie. Welcome back to Overtime Arcade. And I swear to you, I am not actively looking for more arcade restoration projects right now. I've already got a garage full of them that I need to get to. But somehow, sometimes, these games just seem to find me. So there I was, minding my own business, sitting on the couch, when my buddy Liam from the Retro Robotics channel on YouTube, and he's also a co-host of the Coin Jam podcast with me, Liam sends me this Facebook Marketplace listing for a couple of arcade cabinets for free. That's right, for free, like 25, 30 minutes away from my house. And you know, when a deal like that comes along, you know, you've got to jump on it, even if you don't necessarily, you know, if you're not necessarily looking for these things. So yeah, I'm looking at this listing right now. It says, you know, arcade machine cabinets only. Have been in the garage for a long time, great for rebuilds or your creative project. I'll show the one picture that I have from this listing. This is all I've seen so far, and one of them in particular looks kind of interesting to me. So yeah, you know, free arcade cabinets, so you know, who knows what's inside. I'm assuming that they're empty. You know, I don't know, there might be a tube in one of them, but anyway, why don't we hop in the car, head out on the road, and go pick up these 2 free arcade cabinets. Let's go! All right, I got them, and this is an amazing score. I didn't film at the seller's house just out of privacy reasons, and it was actually raining and it's super windy here. So I got the games loaded up, covered up with tarps and stretch wraps, and you are not going to believe what I got. It's so much more than what I was expecting, and again, you can't beat the price of free. So let me hop back on the road. We're getting close. I mean, this isn't far away from my house. So yeah, let's get this back into the garage, open it up, and see what we got. All right, here we are. They're off the truck. It's actually, if I'm being honest, it's been a couple of months. I've been super busy with lots of stuff, but I'm super excited to tear into these things. It's kind of like whenever I do this, it feels like being a kid on Christmas and opening presents. So yeah, let's go ahead. I'm gonna start with the big one on the left, and we'll just cut the, oh man, I did a number on this. We'll just cut the plastic. I remember I was fighting the weather. There was a storm coming when I was loading this up, and I didn't have far to go, but I didn't want to see these things get destroyed. And yeah, that pickup, wild. That's the closest, or the shortest I've ever driven to pick something up. And yeah, I got a little surprise for you when we open these up all the way. This one is so tall, my goodness. And yeah, so it is hot. If I wasn't doing a video, I would have my huge sort of industrial fan blowing to cool me off in the garage, but it's just way too loud to have that going when I'm filming, so you might see me getting sweaty. Okay, here we go. Oh, cobwebs and stink bugs, and there we are. Do you recognize it? You can tell by this logo decal right here, this is a Dynamo cab, but this is not your typical Dynamo cab. This is actually a somewhat uncommon one. And I believe it's called an HS7. Oh, and I remember I shrunk wrapped the bottom of these, so now they're on top of dollies. So let's cut around the base. All right, here's trash can, and you're gonna hear me out of breath too, and it's not just because I'm out of shape, and I am out of shape. It's the smoke from the Canadian fires, the Canadian wildfires are back. I can, even just looking at the trees in the neighborhood, I can see the smoke, and I had the garage doors open earlier, and it's like almost powder on stuff. So yeah, here's our first cabinet. It is enormous, a lot of stink bugs in there. Again, like I said, I think it's a Dynamo HS7. We'll learn a little bit more about it when we dig it up or dig into it. It's huge, it's enormous. It almost reminds me of like one of the taller Nintendo cabs, like a dual screen Play Choice 10 like I have in the basement. Big flat top, which I like because I'll be able to store things on it. The T-molding is coming out just a tiny bit in the back here on both sides. Maybe that was from me taking the shrink wrap off. So yeah, we'll dig into this in a little bit. No side art at all. It's just black. I don't know if it's been painted over multiple times or what. Oh no, I can see there is a square or rectangular sticker. But while I'm opening up the second one, see if you can figure out what bezel this is. What this game was converted to. So obviously, you know, Dynamo made generic cabinets designed for operators to put conversion kits into. So rather than take an older cabinet like a Pac-Man or a Donkey Kong or something like that that was, you know, old and perhaps no longer earning, you know, that you would put a conversion kit in. Manufacturers like Dynamo made cabinets designed for conversion kits. So you would just buy an empty generic cabinet and then buy any number of series of conversion kits and keep swapping them in and out. You know, this became really popular during the JAMA era, when the industry standardized on harness setup and edge connector pinout and all that stuff. So, but this one has been converted and there is a conversion kit in it, but this is not a generic cabinet. Have you figured out what this is? It's a somewhat recognizable one, and I certainly did when I saw this in the listing, which is why I got so excited. All right, we're almost free. And I wanted to have the fan on, but it's too loud. And I don't know if you can see, I've got the dead cat on my lapel microphone, hoping that would quiet the fan enough, but no, it's just too loud to have the fan on while I'm recording. So yeah, there's our second totally free cabinet. I didn't pay a dime. And the seller actually gave me another tube for free. So I actually damaged this a little bit. I'll show you a little bit later. I kind of ratcheted it down too hard, I know, and broke a piece of the top of the cabinet. But I've got it here, so I should be able to, I would assume, repair this. Yeah, we'll worry about that later. But yeah, and so obviously this has a conversion kit in it, and it is a Time Soldiers. You can see from the side, it says Time Soldiers, Romstar. And Time Soldiers, if you're not familiar with it, it's kind of like Akari Warriors. It's got these rotary joysticks, which allow you to both move your character in 8 directions, as well as turn to aim. So sort of like what you would need you know, like in Robotron, you need a dual stick setup to both, you know, use one joystick to move and one joystick to shoot in a certain direction. With this rotary joystick setup, you know, you sort of move it like a normal joystick to move, and then turn to you know, aim differently. And then you could have a fire button and a second button. But yeah, so still got the side art on this side too. Have you been able to figure out what this game is? This is actually Pango, Sega Pango, which is a game that I actually wanted, and it was on my VAP's wanted list. So I'm really excited to have that, have this. You know, obviously we're going to be restoring this back to an original Pango, and yeah, we've even got the Sega Gremlin sticker in here, and the utility panel, and this I think is locked, which is fine. But yeah, so think of this as part one of the Pango restoration. And over the last couple of months, while I've been collecting parts, I think both the, oh no, this only has a lower marquee bracket, which is missing, but that's fine. We can find a new one or make one maybe. Over the months since I picked up these games, I've been collecting parts for Pango, and I think I've got everything I need. I've got a working PCB that I bought in an auction from TNT Amusements. So, Mr. Todd Tuckey, thank you very much for that. I believe I've got a joystick. I've got an art package. So we should have basically what we need. I don't know what I'm going to do with the Dynamo cabinet. You know, obviously it's got this artwork. This is actually Battle Balls, if you haven't figured it out yet. It's a game kind of like, I don't know, it looks like Bust-A-Move, but it plays more like Tetris, sort of, or Puyo Puyo. It's a puzzle game. You sort of have this configuration of 3 balls in different colors that you can rotate and sort of, I think you're supposed to line up 3 balls of the same color to clear them. So yeah, so I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. You know, part of me is thinking, you know, do I transfer the Time Soldiers kit over to that? But this has a lower to the ground control panel, and I've heard some people have issues with using the rotary joysticks on a taller control panel, and this is a bit of a taller control panel. So I really don't know what I'm going to do here. But yeah, why don't we dig into these a little bit more. I'll turn them around and we can sort of take a look at what's going on the inside. All right. And as you saw, or hopefully could see through the bezels, these both have tubes in them. So let's, like I said, spin these around and see what's going on the inside. Make sure we're kind of in frame. And yep, we'll start over here this time. And I don't remember. I know I opened these. Oh, for sure did I open these. I don't remember what was going on with the locks. I think they're just, everything here is just drilled or screwed in place. This has 6 screws. Looks like the back has been painted. There was some sort of FCC or some kind of warning sticker there. And obviously Pango was originally this like ice blue type of color. So I believe this has like a 2-piece back door, almost a little bit like a Williams, right? Except the bottom is the part that locks and the top kind of, oh man, opens up the, there we go. Okay. All right. So there's our upper back door. Nothing going on there. Nothing special. And is there some kind of, yeah, this just slides out. And check it out. That's a complete game. This is a complete game. This was advertised as an empty cabinet, but this is a complete game. Unreal. Let's see. Is this a G07? It looks like a G07 to me. Yeah, G07 CBO, vertical, CRT monitor. Has a handwritten date of October 23rd, 1982 on it. We've got this JAMA board down here. I'm assuming this is Time Soldiers. It does say ROMstar on it. All of the ROMs say BF. Is that something other than Time Soldiers? I don't know. We're going to have to find out. We've got a switching power supply, which I don't think is original. We've got our really big transformer there that has a disconnected Molex, whatever that goes to. Yeah, so I'll bring the camera over in a second. We'll really dig into this. Very, very cool. We got some more stickers over here, Sega Gremlin stickers. I'll show you all this in a second. And what was holding this in place, and I am starting to sweat now. Whew. And are there any others? Yeah, there's one right there and there. Okay, and this one I think has been dragged on its back a little bit. It does have some damage down here. I don't know if that's necessarily water or it looks more like just being dragged. Because this cabinet is a particle board for sure. Can't quite tell what the Pango is, but knowing Sega Gremlin, it is probably particle board. And see if we can get this sucker off. Oh, this has this little. I get all the screws. There we go. Oh, I caught it and almost broke my finger. All right, this has nothing on the inside of the... Oh man, that almost broke my finger. Falling off. And yeah, look at this. This is a complete game too. Oh man. So this is, looks like a K7000 maybe. I'll have to get in there and really take a closer look. Manufactured in '88. Is there a sticker on this anywhere? It's a P447 PCB, so is that K7000? I think so. And yeah, we've got this interesting looking PCB here that has this like plastic sort of cover over it. It says Seibu Kaihatsu Incorporated. And I forget what this game was called, but it was something different, not Battle Balls, originally in Japan. Seiryu, something like that. Senru, something. But we have a kind of an odd looking remote board for the monitor down here. So maybe this is a early K7000 possibly. You know, I'm really sweating. Switching power supply, transformer, and it's like this weird button. Is that a credit switch, a reset button or something? Yeah, we've got paperwork down here. Let's see what this is. Let's open this up together for the first time. Voila. Oh, what is this? Coin controls, coin mech instructions, parts list, coin controls, extra screws. What is this? Battle balls instructions. Battle balls. Japanese operator's manual. And yes, it is written in mostly Japanese, so we'll see if that's of any use. And, oh, here's the English battle ball, so I guess that's more useful. So that's neat that we've got that paperwork in here. And, oh, Okay, the sticker from the monitor fell off, and it is, in fact, oh, okay. It is a 19K7612. Maybe originally 7602. Looks like it was maybe hand changed to 7612. I don't know if that's something. And I'm assuming this came from this monitor. Maybe from like right there. But yeah, there's other stickers in the bottom of this cabinet. And this Dynamo, okay, so we have some place where you could have put a game label, a model number, and a serial number, but that's not filled out. Yeah, this is a JAMA game as well. And there's something kind of cool with this Dynamo cabinet that I'll show you. If we open up the coin door and reach up and undo the latches, so far pretty typical. All right, that one's undone. And ooh, lots of spider webs, I'm feeling them. That one's undone. Okay, we can then tilt it forward. And then the whole thing, should I really grab the joysticks? This whole thing comes out on a shelf. Like so. Hopefully I haven't pinched there we go, the harness. But yeah, this whole thing comes out, and I wouldn't want to sit on this, but it's filthy. It's somewhat sturdy, so let's come in with our camera here and take a look at what's going on. So yeah, we've got our joysticks and buttons, pretty normal. Our switching power supply, which is on this kind of raised block here, and I don't know if that was originally part of the cabinet or not. I think it probably is. Isolation transformer, line filter, a loose ground right there. This is probably power for the monitor and maybe the marquee light. Hopefully that's, well, that's mounted. That's mounted on a little hook right there, so that's fine. And yeah, here's our interesting looking PCB. And I believe this game was made in the 90s, right? Looking for a date on the PCB. Oh yeah, right over here. Let's come over here. Right there. 1995, this game was released. So what does that put it sort of in the Killer Instinct 2 time frame? So if you walked into an arcade and you had a choice between Killer Instinct 2 and Battle Balls, which would you pick? Here we have the marquee box up here, lots of hacked up wiring, and look how that starter is kind of on the end of the tube. That's an interesting setup. As sweat pours down my face, gross. Oh, we have a power switch. It's actually right up here on the top of the cabinet. I didn't notice that before. Interesting. We're also missing the top marquee bracket on this one. We have the bottom, but not the top. And yeah, I don't know what this switch is for. Again, maybe a credit switch. This right here. Credit switch or something like that. But pretty interesting setup. And then coming over here, here's our Geo7. So that's great. There's some cardboard up here. I'm guessing that was used to block out light, maybe. Maybe if it was coming back from the marquee. Here is the, this is like the, actually, instead of, okay. So this reminds me of what's on the depth charge, right? So if you saw the depth charge video, we had this little box here that had this interlock switch that normally would go here and be actuated by the door. But right here, there is a line filter, and on the depth charge, instead of a line filter right there, there was a distribution block. So yeah, and here is our Geo7 chassis. Looks fine, I guess. We have our PCB down here. Again, it says ROMstar on that sticker, and all these ROMs say BF and Yeah, then it says right here, SNK. So I guess the game is developed by SNK and distributed in the US by Romstar. I think they had a bit of a relationship. Some, right here, a bunch of resistors sort of mounted vertically. That's kind of interesting. And I'm not seeing anything on the board that says exactly what this game is, which is kind of funny. So I don't know what BF means. And again, down here we have this switching power supply and this big old transformer that has this Molex that goes nowhere. So we'll have to figure out what's going on with that. We've got a manufacturing sticker down here that says, oh, okay. Was this like an assembly line? I don't know if you're going to get enough light to read that. I believe it says start time 8:10 a.m., end time, stop time 8:10 p.m. on October 22nd, 1982. So that's maybe when this game was originally manufactured. And we have an inspection sticker for QA. And right here, here's our Sega Gremlin sticker from San Diego, California. And if you can see it, it says game Pango, upright, 2 amps. Boom, we got a serial number, which is, if it'll focus, looks like 235503. Very, very cool. So, I kind of want to try these things out. I kind of want to turn these on. So let me get set up for that, and we will test out these cabinets. Okay, I'm over here at the Dynamo. I've got everything opened up, and before I turn it on, I want to test and make sure that the power supply is putting out, nice safe voltages before I hook everything else up and risk damaging the PCB or the monitor. So I've got the power to the monitor disconnected. I've got the PCB edge connector disconnected, and I'm going to go ahead and plug in the power. And unfortunately, the the power cord, the grounding plug has been cut, which I hate, and it's dangerous. The marquee light came right on, so I guess the power switch was on. So we'll do that again. And now the marquee light is not coming on. Oh well. So I've got my multimeter set to AC volts, and I'm just going to come in and test and see what I've got here. Uh-oh. I've got no AC on the power supply. That's strange. Do I have continuity on my fuse? Fuse is good. Well, that's strange. Why would I not have power here? I'm trying to figure out how in the world I would have power for a second, because the marquee light was on, and then I turned the switch to turn off the cabinet, turned it back on, and now I've got nothing. The fuse isn't blown. Is the switch bad? Is that switch bad? Could that possibly be it? Okay, I figured it out. The switch failed. The cabinet power switch failed. The one mounted at the top of the cabinet. It was, I guess, in the on position when I initially turned it on, because I saw the marquee light turn on, and then I turned it off, and then tried to turn it back on, and nothing. Totally dead, no power going into the power supply, nothing. The line power coming in, nothing. And yeah, I tested the fuse. The fuse was fine, and I'm like, what the heck could it be? And yeah, the switch mechanically failed, and I guess it had so much crud sort of sitting in the little hole on top of the cabinet that it fell into this sort of crevice in here and blocked the contacts from making contact. So I disconnected it, took the whole thing apart, removed it, because I was testing it with my continuity test on my multimeter, and I wasn't getting any continuity, right? And so I took the switch out. I blew all of the sort of dust and debris out that I could with some canned air, and then I sprayed just a tiny little bit of deoxidant on both sides, and I worked this rocker switch back and forth maybe 100 times, and now it works. There we go. 0 ohms of resistance, so that switch is as good as new. So I'm going to go ahead and mount this back into the cabinet, wire it back up, and we'll be ready to turn it on again. All right, I've got the switch all wired back up again, and we are ready to continue our test. And I'm glad I found that. So we're plugged back into power. The switch is off. I'm going to turn it on, and I will expect the marquee light to turn on. And after a moment, it does. So I've got my meter on AC volts, and I'll come in here and test what we've got. And we're just shy of 119, which is fine. So that's the voltage coming in. And I think it goes through the isolation transformer and then to the power supply. So then we'll test our voltages, our DC voltages. So our 12 is at 13.8. That's kind of high. Our -5 is at -4.9. I guess that's fine. And our 5 is at, whoa, way too high. Okay, let's bring that down quite a bit, actually. And I know there's no load, but still, whoa, okay, now it's too low. Come up with scotch and see what we're at here. Can I hold these while doing this? All right, I'm going to be at maybe 5.05. That's what I'll feel good at. And then we'll hook it up to the load and see what it's at there. So turning off the power, I'm going to come back and we'll go ahead and connect the monitor. And yep, so monitor's got its power reattached. And I will, can you see what I'm doing? Just in case something comes up on the monitor. And I don't know that it will. And yeah, these were these were being offered, I can't say sold, because they were being offered for free on Facebook Marketplace as empty cabinets. And not only are they complete cabinets, I got an extra tube for free. So I know there's a ton of glare. I'm going to turn this on so maybe you have a chance of seeing what's going on. But we're back. We're back and wired up. So I'm going to throw the switch in 3, 2, 1. Let's see. Coin door lights are on. I don't hear anything. I don't see any net glow. Or do I? I see some faint net glow. Anything on the screen? Yeah, I've got net glow. Is the board dead? Let's see. Maybe the board is too low. And we are just over 5 volts. Oh, here we go. Did you see that? Something was on the screen momentarily, and had something to do with me connecting this. Yeah, we're still at 5.0. Maybe it's too low on the board. Do I dare turn it up? Yeah, we still have net glow. Is there anything on the screen? I kind of want to just turn up maybe the brightness on the monitor a tad, just in case. Just in case, I kind of want to see raster lines. So focus. Ooh, we've got a crack. Okay, now we've got raster on the screen, but it's just a blank blue screen. Do I dare? And let's see, are there any LEDs on the board to light up? I don't see any. Is there anything disconnected that should be going here? Again, I don't see anything, and I'm completely unfamiliar with this board. I have no idea what it wants or needs or should do. Let me test that 12 volts again. I probably should have done that. Let's see. That would be right here and right here. Yeah, 12.1, that's fine. Negative 5.4, that's a little high. I don't know. Should I turn it up just a tad? Did something just happen? I went in the wrong direction. Now we're at 5.1. Let me try restarting it. You know, it could be that there's a battery dead on the board. I see it's got a little watch battery. But, yeah, bugs. Yeah, maybe the board is dead. Yeah, 5.12, and that should be okay. I could test it on the board, but I don't have the JAMA pinout memorized, and most of the chips are blocked, and maybe I can try just testing the voltage on a chip. Usually it's the first pin is 5 volts, right? Bugs flying everywhere. But where would ground be? Where can I grab ground safely? Monitor's whining a little bit. I think that is ground. I hope that's ground. Let me test continuity. Yeah, that's got to be ground. Oh, Charlie. Let me turn the game off real quick. Yeah, I think the end ones are ground, right? Yeah, that's ground. So I can turn this on and put it there, and then grab a chip. And that's no voltage. Or no, that's continuity. I want DC volts. Whoops. Try not to bridge anything. 5.05, so we're getting 5 volts on the board. So maybe that board is dead. So what I'll do is I'm going to disconnect this PCB, and I'm going to install a 60-in-1. And don't worry, this is just for testing purposes. You've seen me use this before on the little mini, April Fool's Day cabinet I had. And yeah, here is the much hated, much despised because of how poor the emulation is. Come on with this little bag. And again, I got this from the one and only Gleek on the Clav forums. He's, I guess, sold off like his whole collection, but sold this to me. So even though this is a horizontal monitor, we've got a vertical game. Shouldn't be a problem. I don't really want to short it. I have some cardboard I can maybe stick under, or just kind of flop it like that. Isn't that something? All right, we've got it flopping around, and let's see if we can get something on the screen here. So we've got power on, we've got the LED on the 60-in-1 lit, and let's see if some image comes up on the monitor. Yep, focus is way out. And I don't really want to mess with this monitor all that much just because of how bad of a crack I see. And everything is filthy. I can turn down the screen a little bit. Yeah. There we go. So, yeah, I'm guessing this board is just bad. And that is a soldered in CR 2032, which I do have more of. But do I really want to go through the trouble of soldering it? I don't think I can just bend that back. Yeah, okay. Speaker works. Let's see. The button's not working? Okay. These colors look weird. So weird to play it like that. Can you see what I'm doing? Kind of. And it looks terrible. The monitor looks terrible on the camera. It's really not so bad. Yeah, I'm gonna stop with this because I doubt you're particularly interested in seeing me play a 60-in-1. So let me go and disconnect this real quick. And we'll close this thing up. And I guess I kind of just go like this. Wild. What a wild sort of setup. I guess, you know, these are the kind of features that, you know, operators at the time were looking for, right? Made it really, really easy to change games around. Let's back up and come over here. And this will be hopefully more interesting. I'm going to unplug the Dynamo cab, and we will plug in the Pango / Time Soldiers. And this does have a grounded plug. It's a little dirty and bent up, but I think this will go. Let's see. Before I go crazy and plug it in, I want to disconnect at a minimum the PCB. Yeah, I think this is a crimped nut, not a twist wire nut. So the monitor is going to stay connected, unfortunately. And I don't have a power switch, but I do have a interlock switch. So I guess maybe I should be showing this to you, what I'm doing from the back of the cabinet, because we're going to test the power supply first. So let me come around here and I'll show you what I'm seeing. So, all right, there we go. Whoops. Okay, so yeah, the monitor power is connected with these sort of crimp plugs here. So, but the PCB edge connector is disconnected, so I feel good about that. Monitor's still going to get power, but it is what it is. And again, what I'm going to do is test the voltages on the power supply and make sure we're getting, you know, maybe just over 5 volts, you know, 5.05, something like that, before we plug in the PCB and see if the game will start. So let me just grab my multimeter, handy dandy trusty Fluke 117. And if you're ever curious about the tools and parts and whatever I'm using in any of my videos, I always include a list and a link, maybe an affiliate link, in the video description. So, oh, I forgot to plug in the cabinet. So, you know, take a look down there if you ever want to, you know, look into buying the tools and parts and whatever that I'm using. And if you use the affiliate link, you know, you'll put maybe a penny or two in my pocket. So help out the channel. All right, so let's see. We're going to start by testing down here our AC voltages. Oh, we've already got power. This interlock has been bypassed. So it does turn it off, but it's wired wrong. It's always on. Okay, so that's fine. So we're putting 119 into this power supply. I think I see net glow. I got glare. So let's see what the voltages look like. So here we are on ground, and -5 is gone. That's dead. +12 is, oh, that's AC. What am I doing? How come nobody said anything? There we go. Oh, it's still dead. Huh! What about 5 volts? Is this power supply donezo? Yeah, I am seeing net glow. So we do have, that's DC. We got 119 going in, and we have on ground, we got 0, nothing. I got no power coming out of this. Is it just nothing? This power supply is shot, and I can't even turn it off with a switch, so I'm gonna disconnect the power here. So what should I do? Should I let me see, should I grab the power supply out of the Dynamo or see if I got another one working somewhere? Let me go figure this out real quick. All right, have no fear. It just so happens that I have a brand new modern switching power supply right here that we can use. I got this a while back from, I'm pretty sure it was Arcade Shop. This is a Suzo Hap. I think this is like the deluxe model, maybe. Modern switching power supply. So yeah, let's go ahead and swap this in. I want to put the feet on it so that we can mount it, which is in this little bag of parts right here. So one thing that's important is to make sure that the smoke is to make sure you reconnect things the right way. And because the power is coming through the isolation transformer, I don't think it matters which I connect to line and which I connect to neutral on the new Suzo Hap power supply, because there really isn't any difference, I believe, once you make that, once it goes through the ISO. And wonderful, this is just a hooked wire. So I'm gonna go in and we will reattach these one at a time. I can test right now our voltages. So I'm recording it. So let me go and plug it in. And I pulled the interlock switch. So we'll go like this. And we see the light comes on our new power supply. So we'll go and test our line voltage, and that is right around, oh, you can't even see it. There we go, just over 119. And so now I can test my real voltages, or the DC voltages. Switch to DC volts, come in here, and we're at a little high, so we'll turn that down, 5.05. That's fine. And we'll come in and test our -5, that's real low. And our +12, that's fine. Interesting that that is so low for -5, but not worried about that just yet. There we go. Disconnected, and I will unplug the power again just to be safe because I'm mucking about with the power hookups. So let me transfer the rest of these wires over. So yeah, let's fire it back up and just again double check our voltages and then take it from there. So move this old power supply junk out of the way. This is an old ENSCO. Oh. All right, power's plugged back in. Interlock switch is thrown. I hear some buzzing. Oh man. And our DC voltage is maybe 5.06. I think that's fine. Let's see if I see any raster on the monitor. Turn off the lights real quick just to see if I'm getting net glow before I... Oh yeah, I see raster on the screen. It's dim, but I see blue raster. Okay. So let's do this. Let's turn the game off. Turn the cabinet off. We will, we'll turn the cabinet off, which means pull out the interlock switch in this case. We will reconnect right up here our, what I believe to be, based on the side art, Time Soldiers PCB, JAMA PCB, and let's come around to the front and see if we can get this game working. Okay, we've got our PCB turned on or plugged in, so let's turn on the game. I heard a tiny little pop from the speaker. There is no light in the marquee. Let's turn off the lights here and see if something comes up on that monitor. Oh yeah, we got something. Hey! Look at that. That is Time Soldiers. And why are we getting this wave? All right, change the shutter speed to 60 frames per second, which is a trick to, prevent that kind of rolling image. So look at that. One of the coin door lights is out, but one of them's on. Can I start a game? No, it wants a coin. It's not on free play. Here we go, we got a credit. No sound. Okay, that is disconnected. Let me see if the controls work. Can you see what's going on? At least somewhat. These joysticks are sticky, need to be cleaned at a minimum. Oh, I died. Let me see if there's something going on. Where is the volume control? Let me look something up real quick before I start touching pots that I can't quite see labels for. But yeah, the left and right work. I guess it just needed to be worked around a little bit. But yeah, no sound. And it doesn't have rapid fire. It's auto scrolling. Ooh. Okay, I'm terrible at this game. Continue. Continue game. Yeah, I can hear a little buzz on the the speaker. So let me actually look it up real quick how to adjust the volume. Well, I've got one piece of good news and two pieces of bad news. So the good news is I found the volume pot, looked up the manual and confirmed it was the pot that I thought it was on the bottom right-hand corner of the PCB. Two bits of bad news. One, adjusting that pot doesn't seem to change the fact that there's no sound at all. And you know, while I was looking up the the manual, the monitor in this cabinet went out. It just sort of, you know, blinked out, and I don't know what's going on. I checked both fuses. Both fuses are fine. You know, going through the flow chart, it says, you know, test R1. R1, I've got no voltage on either side, and that's, I think, how you're supposed to check the B plus on a G07. So I don't know. We'll have to dig into that a bit more. So in the meantime, I hooked up my, you know, little test bench 13-inch K7000, and the size of the image is a bit off. I've got it powered by the the test bench isolation transformer power supply that I've been putting together. That's about 99% done. I'm just working on different adapters for plugging in different types of monitors. And yeah, you know, I'm getting an image. Whoa, this is what happens when you don't no, and I won't continue. So the game is still running, but yeah, and I can't get any sound to come out. So I'm assuming that's some sort of wiring issue that I'll have to look into. So yeah, I mean, not bad for free, right? Two machines, one with a working JAMA setup. Everything works except the PCB, you know, in that Dynamo. And, you know, this Pango cabinet has a working Time Soldiers PCB, well, at least mostly working. We haven't been able to confirm that the sound is working. Maybe I'll try it in the Dynamo. But, you know, those rotary joysticks work, and they are, I believe that S means these are SNK style sticks. So the controls work, the PCB works, and I can hear, I don't know if we can come in close, I can hear buzzing coming out of the monitor. So I guess the monitor just isn't, or coming out of the speaker, so I guess the speaker just isn't getting a signal. But so this'll restore nicely back to a Pango. Let me go ahead and turn this off. I'll turn the monitor off because that's powered separately. I'll turn the cabinet off. So yeah, I guess that was a little bit anticlimactic there, but you know, take this as step one of the Pango restoration, and a couple more things that I want to show you, just to what to expect in this series. So I've got a whole mess of joysticks here. I had a bag of random joysticks I bought, and I've got a couple that will work for Pango. And so Pango uses a long or a tall, skinny Wicco stick, a 4-way Wicco stick, same as Frogger and a few other games, I believe. And that's what these are right here. So they are skinny, and you can sort of see it in comparison to a fat Wicco stick. It's a skinny, it is long, so here's it compared to a skinny short Wicco stick. And it is a 4-way, so you can see there's sort of a, if I can get the dust washer to cooperate, there's sort of a square kind of restrictor in there versus, I believe this one, yeah, this one's chewed up, but this has a circle space in there, so that would be an 8-way. I've got a bunch of other different weird random joysticks over here. You know, obviously other fat Wiccos. I think most of those are, so half of them are, you know, partially broken. Most of those are 8-way. There's this just totally bizarre random one. It has these tiny little leaf switches. If anyone knows what this joystick goes to, I would love to learn about that. Just totally weird. I've never seen that before. This is the base of something similar to what's in my NBA Jam. Here are some Wiccos with micro switches instead of leaf switches, and some of these even say Wicco on them. Right, this one here even says Wicco Corp molded into the plastic base down there. Let's see. This is some bizarre like two-way, and there's a restrictor you can see in there that only lets it go two ways. I don't really recognize this. I think this, so this looks like a Qbert almost. It doesn't say Rotterdam. It does have the red micro switches like Qbert, but the shaft of the joystick is tapered, if you see that, and that's, I think, what was in like Qbert Cubes, right? So is this like a bootleg Qbert joystick? I don't know. And I've got these two leaf switch joysticks over here, and blue and purple tops maybe Ninja Turtles, but did that use leaf switches or did they use micro switches? Anyway, let me move all of this aside. Get rid of this bug. So a couple more things I want to show you. So let's see, some of the stuff I've been waiting to open on camera, and a little disappointed that the monitor went out, but to cheer myself up, I'm going to open a couple of things here. This is my Pango PCB. I bought this working off of an auction from TNT Amusements. So Todd Tuckey, Mr. Todd Tuckey, thank you very much. So here's my Pango PCB. And I know you're saying, Charlie, how are you going to plug this into that cabinet with Time Soldiers? It's wired for JAMA. And I say, aha, I bought a adapter. So this is a Pango to JAMA adapter, and even says Sega Pango to JAMA on the screen print. I got this from PCB Junkie up in Canada, so thank you. So once we get everything working, I should be able to just plug this into the cabinet and use the existing wiring. I might have to, I'll have to rebuild obviously the control panel and that sort of thing, but we'll have a working Pango PCB, and I have seen it working, at least on camera, so that's good. I need a marquee, and that arrived today. Got this on eBay. This is an original, allegedly, this is an original Pango marquee, and let's open it together. Look at that. It says Panko, so not sure the seller knew exactly what they had, and I don't necessarily love the way it was packaged. I mean, I believe this is a plexiglass marquee, but this could have been bent up in transit and damaged. So let's see what we got in here. And yeah, I'm doing this live on camera. Well, I'm recording it live. You're not watching it live. Let's see, tonight is Thursday, and this video will come out on Sunday, or at least it'll be publicly released on Sunday. If you are one of our very, very special paid channel members, and we're up to, I think, 6 or so of those lovely, lovely folks now, you'll get to see this early. It'll certainly be out by Saturday, sometime Saturday. I might even get this out by late Friday. Let's see how things go. So, all right, feels intact, so that's good. Wrapped in paper. And yeah, it's like opening up a Christmas present almost. Let's see what we got. All right. That is a Pango marquee. Can you see that? Am I getting all that in frame? Looks to be in reasonably good shape. Backside here, a little bit dirty, but I don't see any major scratches or anything. So that'll look nice on the cabinet. And I'm missing the lower bracket, so I can't. Can I just slide this in here for now? There is the temporarily our Pango Time Soldiers. So it fits like a glove right in there, and I'll have to figure out what we're going to do for a bottom bracket. But yeah, starting to shape up a little bit. So let's come back over here, and there's one more. So there's one more package that arrived today, and it's a larger one. We come back here and change our viewing angle a little bit. And this is one that I've waited for a while. I know I've talked to some of you about this. This is my reproduction art package from This Old Game. So I bought this, I believe in April, like shortly after, maybe a couple days after I made this pickup. And this was listed as in stock Pango artwork. They don't have everything. They didn't sell a marquee. I don't know if anyone's really reproing the marquee right now, or maybe they are. I forget. And it arrived, was it yesterday or today? And it's almost July. And this was in stock artwork. Anyway, sometimes, you know, good, fast, and cheap. Pick 1.5. So definitely good, or I believe so. Got some paperwork here, and yeah, this doesn't have any private info on it. So it talks about how to install the side art, how to install the control panel overlay, so that gives it away a little bit of what I've purchased. So let's see, in this tube is the side art, and yeah, you know, I want to lay this out so it can, I'll do this last actually. So inside here we've got a couple of things that I can show you. Ooh, look at that. Oh, it's all taped up. So there's two things here. Yeah, let me get this bubble wrap off. Okay, there's two things here. First we have, is this all like one piece? Let me see, how does this even work? And this is like taped to the board. So we got two things here. We have the cardboard bezel. So this will go behind the glass bezel, and I guess there are these 4 pieces, or these extra pieces that kind of hold it in place. But this is the cardboard monitor bezel. Yeah, I'm sorry that you can't get the whole thing in frame. So this will go behind the glass on top of the monitor, and have our nice little Pango artwork. And then below it, and I really won't completely disassemble this, don't worry, you'll be seeing plenty of this in coming episodes. This is a Pango control panel overlay, right? So we'll apply this, you know, we'll fix the control panel, we'll fix all the holes, all that sort of stuff, and then we will apply this control panel overlay. And a control panel overlay, and of course, Pango, like I mentioned with this joystick, right, our 4-way skinny Wicco, tall skinny Wicco, is a 4-way, so we have up, down, left, and right, and as indicated by our cute little character there. So let's put that in, and this is all flat already, so this doesn't need to be taken out to be flattened. And last but not least, we have our Pango side art. And let's back up a little bit so we can kind of take this all in. Okay. Maybe I should clear off the table. Yeah, and that artwork looks so far so good. This old game, you know, one of the handful of reproduction art workplaces that, you know, I really do trust for accuracy. You know, nobody's ever perfect, but they you know, historically have done a really good job trying to get as close as possible to the original stuff. So here is the side art. But yeah, sometimes it takes a while, and they have good prices too. Sometimes it takes a while to come in, especially if they're out of stock or back stock. But yeah, there we go. We're gonna have to let this sit out for a while, and what do you call it? Oh man, it's late. I got an early day tomorrow again. We'll have to let this lay out and flatten out before we try to apply it. And it's got the masking, the pre-mask on it, so obviously it's not faded out like that. But look at that. Can you see it? Yeah, some beautiful Pango side art. So really, really happy about that. We'll have to, you know, strip the black paint off of the cabinet. We will likely, I don't know if we're going to find the original artwork underneath. So on the sides of the cabinet over here, you know, there is this Time Soldiers artwork, and obviously the cabinet has been painted black. There are spots where I see the original sort of ice blue color poking through. I don't know if I can really call out any spots here at the moment, or maybe places where it's been scraped and you can kind of see blue poking through. But I have no idea, and I doubt, I don't really see it right now. I doubt that the original decals, Pango decals, are there. But yeah, we will. My focus for this of these two, obviously, I'm going to start by concentrating on the Pango and deconvert it from a Time Soldiers. As fun as that game is, and I don't mind rotary games, although they are sort of continue games. You just pay to win, really, drop another quarter. I do want to restore this back to a Pango, which should really be a lot of fun. Classic game, maybe a little bit underappreciated, a little bit less well known, certainly than the really headliners like Pac-Man and Donkey Kong, and even less well known than Sega's Frogger, but certainly a great game. And then we'll figure out what to do with this Dynamo over here. I'm not too worried that Battle Balls doesn't work, that PCB doesn't work. I don't know, maybe I'll try replacing that little cell battery, watch cell battery, and if that doesn't work, I don't know, figure out if somebody wants to take a crack at fixing it. I'm kind of tempted to put the Time Soldiers kit into the Dynamo, or at least use this as some sort of JAMA cabinet. And I think the way that this slide out tray works, you can just make different control panels out of a piece of wood. So that should be pretty easy to do. Maybe have one that's kind of a typical JAMA 3 buttons and 2 sticks set up, and then I can have this rotary joystick set up. Maybe, I don't know if I'm worried about, like I mentioned before, having a rotary joystick panel be too high off the ground could be ripe for causing carpal tunnel issues. I'm a pretty tall guy, so I would be playing this stuff the most, and my kids will likely be sitting or standing on stools. Anyway, this video is getting long, so I should probably wrap it up here. I really appreciate all the support from everybody. Even if you've just watched this video for the first time, thank you so much. It means a ton to me. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. I make these videos, full-length videos every weekend, typically released on Sunday afternoons. I also will do, from time to time, shorts during the week. Sometimes I got a backlog of 3 shorts that I've got to release, 3 short videos. I also do a podcast called the Coin Jam Podcast. If this video is coming out on Sunday, that means we just did our live stream of episode 5 of the Coin Jam Podcast, which we do monthly. That was on Friday, so if you haven't seen it already, you can catch the retransmission in the YouTube video format, or listen to it, the audio version, wherever you listen to podcasts, wherever that might be. We're on all the major platforms. And yeah, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. I really appreciate all the likes, the shares, the comments, the everything. And I also really, truly appreciate all the channel members that we've picked up so far. I know last time I mentioned, I gave a shout out to Slowcade and Arctic Arcade up in Norway. Also want to give a shout out to Jerry Voluptuous and Frog Puppet and Stock Jock. 3 new members just joined, so I think that puts us up to 6 maybe now, and our 6th one will remain anonymous. It's actually me. I signed up as a channel member on my own channel just to make sure all the features are working, right? So I wanted to make sure that, when I post things, members only, that it's actually working and people are actually seeing it. So yeah, really 5 real channel members, and I truly, truly appreciate every single one of you. So anyway, I'm rambling. I'm Charlie. This has been Overtime Arcade. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Overtime!